Good morning, Wright State University, and welcome to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU. Start your day the right way with us. We will be covering current events in the news, local, national, and from Wright State. We will provide a daily dose of inspiration and positivity to lighten your day. And we will have a special feature depending on the day of the week. So grab your tea or your coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the Wright Morning Show. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. It is Tuesday, June the 22nd, 2021. Join with me this morning on Discord is Laughing Chipmunk. How are you doing this morning?
Fine. I actually woke up, I think, around like 6:30 this morning, and I couldn't get back to sleep.
Oh,
so,
dang.
yeah. I mean, I got enough sleep, so I'm good. I'm okay.
That's good to hear. All right, so we're going to get right into your current events for today. We're going to start with local news here. From the New York Post, YouTube streamers are making bank just by walking around New York City. I'm not sure. Google.
They're making a what?
Google, for some reason, set the local news to New York City instead of Fairborn. Let's try this again. Here we go. From WHIO, on-campus housing costs at Wright State will be reduced. So let's see here. Wright State University announced on Monday that in an effort to help students living on campus following the COVID-19 pandemic, it is cutting the price of residential housing by 1/3, starting with fall semester. The cost reduction was developed in partnership with Crawford Hoying, said Gregory Sample, Wright State's Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer. We believe this will serve as a strong incentive for students who desire to live on campus. Students who live on campus connect with the institution faster, find support groups, and use campus resources more often, added Dan Bertzes, Director of Resident Life and Housing. As a result, they succeed at a higher rate and are more prone to graduate on time. According to a press release, College Park and University apartments will be just over $2,000 per semester, which is a 32% decrease. The release went on to say that the apartments at Forest Lane will cost about $2,700 per semester, which is a reduction of 35%. Wright State officials also said some rooms at the Woods, Honors Hall, and Hamilton Hall will also be reduced beginning with fall semester. The release continued and said that students with residential commuter meal plans will also see changes with the start of fall semester. The changes will give students more purchasing power for their money. School officials said meal plans will increase from $7 to $7.75 for each swipe, which will give them the power to purchase higher valued meals. All right. Moving on to the Fairborn Daily Herald. Former American Legion building is sold to a developer. The former home of the Fairborn American Legion, Dignam Whitmore Post 526, will be sold to a developer to be turned into downtown housing, officials said on Friday. The city of Fairborn is under contract with CESO Incorporated, the developer of Waterford Landing, to demolish the building and construct homes at the site. The city acquired the building in 2017 after the American Legion foreclosed on the property. CESO and the city of Fairborn began talks in 2019 to construct more housing downtown. The benefit is that getting more people to live downtown drives the market for downtown, which includes retail and restaurants, City Manager Rob Anderson said. We have a great relationship with them. The Miami Valley Military History Museum have been looking to acquire the old Dignam Whitmore Post 526, both for its size and its connection to the American military. Currently headquartered at the Dayton Veterans Affairs campus, the The museum had been eyeing the building as a site for its move to Fairborn, known as Operation Big Switch. It's really a kick in the teeth, said Kathy Beers Conrad, the museum's public affairs officer. We're going to exhaust all our efforts at Fairborn and then cast our nets far and wide, but there's only so much time that we have. The museum has a few alternative locations in mind, including a location on South Central Avenue, as well as the old Kroger building near Five Points. But the delay has exacerbated the museum's already tight deadline, as its current location is due for renovation. You can read more at FairbornDailyHerald.com. Dane Daily News says that I-75 North has reopened in Vandalia after a truck hauling camper rolls onto its side. So I-75 is open for those of you who had avoided I-75 due to that incident. Also from the Fairborn Daily Herald, Still Wright's is acquired by Cincinnati Distilling Company. Cincinnati Distilling Company has acquired Fairborn-based Still Wright's Distillery, the company announced on Tuesday. The Milford-based company announced that it would acquire the Still Wright's brand in order to resume production of the Still Wright's premium bourbons, rums, and moonshines, according to a media release. Flat Rock Spirits, co-owned by Brad Measle, Sean Measle, and James Bagford, produced craft bourbon, rum, and moonshine under the Still Wright's brand at 5380 Intrastate Drive. In a May Facebook post, the company announced that its production facility and tasting room would close permanently after 11 years. Over the years, we had the pleasure of working with the Flat Rock crew at various events and always enjoyed their outstanding lineup. We loved working with their team, and their Still Wright's products have always been top-notch, said Josh Engel, Cincinnati Distilling representative. Production of the Still Wright's products will be consolidated into the Cincinnati Distilling facilities, and there is no plan to reopen the distillery and tasting room in Fairborn. Cincinnati Distilling plans to immediately resume and ramp up production of Still Wright's products throughout the state, the company said. You can read more at FairbornDailyHerald.com. Dane Daily News says that Greene County roads are still closed after the severe weather event over the weekend. I know there was a lot of flooding involved. We had a lot of rain this weekend, that's for sure. So sounds like some roads are still closed. I believe the Great Miami River might still be flooded in a way. There's a few other rivers that are over their banks. So, we're still dealing with flooding. And our forecast is not looking very promising for the weekend. Looking like we're going to get some more rain this weekend. Probably not severe weather, but definitely more rain. Which your weather forecast is coming up at 9:30 today. So those of you who want to hear the forecast can do so when we cover it at 9:30. But continuing on, WDTN, Wright State makes... we already covered that one from WHIO. So we're going to move on to Xenia Fireworks Festival is returning in July from WDTN. An annual fireworks display and festival is returning in Xenia in July after being canceled last year. The city said the Kevin Sonny Cal Memorial Fireworks Festival will be held at Shawnee Park on Friday, July the 2nd. Fireworks will begin at 10 p.m. Prior to the display, visitors could participate in a variety of activities including food trucks, bouncy houses, live music featuring the U.S. Air Force Band of Flight, and a children's Disney Pixar bicycle parade. The Fireworks Festival is being held alongside the city's red, white, and blue block party in downtown Xenia, which runs from 3 to 7 p.m. and will feature a cornhole tournament, disc golf, sand art sculptures, Jeep show, sports tutorials by athletes in action, children's programming by the Xenia YMCA, a live broadcast from WCSU Radio, food trucks, and more. You can read more at WDTN.com. From the Springfield News Song, the city of New Carlisle is banning Park Jackson Street and East Washington Street. Pike Street's a very narrow street to begin with, and we had certain sections of that painted. The issue stems from what's called Pike Place now. It used to be Bell Manor Nursing Home, but a lot of the residents of the nursing home never drove, because they were at the nursing home, said Randy Bridge, New Carlisle city manager. Pike Place is now a busy apartment complex, causing more parking difficulties, he said. Now people are just parking wherever they want, so city council just decided to paint the whole entire strip yellow so no one could park there. The issues we were seeing was because the road is so narrow. On one side of Pike Street is actual single-family residential houses, and across the street is the apartment complex, Bridge said. This has caused issues for those living in the residential houses, he said. You can read more at springfieldnewssun.com. Continuing on here, Dayton Daily News says that registration is now open for a virtual job fair, and more than 70 companies are seeking workers. So if you're seeking work here in the Miami Valley, I would definitely recommend checking out the job fair. You can read more at DaytonDailyNews.com. From Dayton.com, an increasing number of dead birds are being found around Dayton. People in the Dayton region reported finding an unusually high number of dead birds in their communities, and the cause remains unknown. Kettering resident Chris Straka has seen the dead birds in his neighborhood and asked through the Nextdoor app if any of his neighbors had come across similar occurrences. Straka told the Dayton Daily News he's found a number of them on his property. I've buried around 9 or 10 grackles, and only grackles, over the last 2 to 3 weeks, he said. A few have actually witnessed fall to the ground and start twisting and turning like they had vertigo or something. Ooh. Straka was not alone, as Nextdoor has been abuzz with residents of other communities experiencing the same things. The Glen Helen Raptor Center in Yellow Springs has also taken note of the problem, Executive Director Nick Boutis said. We've been tracking information from the U.S. Geological Service and the Department of Natural Resources Division of Wildlife, he said. And the Division of Wildlife has been regularly communicating with wildlife rehabbers in Ohio. We've been advised that they are thinking that it's most likely a contagion, bacteria, or virus that's impacting birds, but they're still not sure. The Ohio Division of Wildlife could not be reached for comment. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like these birds are getting a contagious disease or something, and it's knocking them out. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is. Poor birdies.
Yeah. From Yellow Springs News, Bea Skincare Studio opens. A fresh coat of Marauder Blue, a color inspired by the southern coast of Spain, offers a warm and welcoming vibe when first entering Bea Skincare Studio. Nestled comfortably in cozy suite number 3 at 100 Corey Street, the newly opened business, owned by Belinda Steffens, will cater to the skincare needs of Yellow Springs residents. Steffens, a licensed cosmetologist with certifications in skincare and permanent makeup procedures and 33-year veteran of the industry, decided early on that she did not want to do hair. I started exploring other things we could do with our license, and skin just became more and more what I was interested in, she said. Through Bea, Steffens will offer skincare treatments that some residents may have to travel outside of the village to receive over the years. Bea's menu offers body and skin treatments. It includes dermaplaning, a popular treatment in which a sterilized surgical blade is used to remove peach fuzz and dead skin cells from the top layer of the face, and gua sha, a lymphatic drainage treatment for the face that can reduce puffiness and has a detoxifying effect on the face and neck, according to the skincare services menu found on Bea's Facebook page. Steffens will offer traditional services such as facial waxing and her own personalized touches to traditional manicures. Called the Bea Mani, it includes a dry brushing and gua sha on the hand and forearm. You can read more at ysnews.com. From the Fairborn Daily Herald, COVID-19 vaccination efforts continue. Greene County Public Health, through an initiative with the Ohio Department of Medicaid, is offering $50 gift cards to encourage Medicaid patients ages 18 and up to receive the COVID vaccine. GCPH is continuing to work with various partners such as the local YMCAs, township administrators, food pantries, and libraries, and through local events to address barriers and vaccine hesitancy in Greene County communities. The mobile vaccine unit will be traveling to various communities the week of June the 21st, through the 26th and feature the gift card incentive. So on Tuesday, June the 22nd, you could get your vaccines from the Jamestown Public Library, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 85 Seaman Drive. On Wednesday, June the 23rd, you could get your vaccines at Sugar Creek Township Administration Building from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., 2090 Ferry Road. You could also go to Yellow Springs Community Center, 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. at 100 Dayton Street, or One Bistro from 4 to 7 p.m., 87 East Main Street in Xenia. That is also a community meal night. On Thursday, June the 24th, you could go to the Xenia Fish Food Pantry from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., 774 Cincinnati Avenue. The pantry hours, if you're interested in that, are 12 to 3 p.m. On Friday, June the 25th, they'll be at the Fairborn Fish Food Pantry from 12:30 to 4 p.m., 1149 North Broad Street, and the pantry hours are 1 to 4 p.m. On Saturday, June the 26th, Yellow Springs Pride is where you could get the vaccine, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 314 Xenia Avenue by the Presbyterian Church across from Speedway. Entry is on the sidewalk side. In addition, other clinics have been scheduled and additional dates are in the planning stages. Let's see here. Prairie's Youth Center at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base has a new game room, according to the Dayton Daily News. You could go to Dayton Daily News to read more about that. From WHIO, culinary student at Ponitz CTC wins a free car. A senior from David H. Ponitz CTC won a free car on Friday for having good grades and for having good attendance. Brianna Watts, who is culinary arts student, won a 2013 Dodge Avenger in the school's In It to Win It drawing. In a release sent from Dayton Public Schools, students earn tickets each quarter for making the honor roll or having perfect attendance during each school quarter. Students were able to earn up to 8 tickets per year, and all of the tickets are entered into a drawing at the end of each year for the car and other prizes. You can read more at WHIO. From WDTN, do you need a job? Hollywood Gaming is hosting a job fair in Dayton today. The job fair will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., so get down there after the show. And again from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the lower level of the racetrack grandstand at 777 Hollywood Boulevard. Hollywood Gaming said they are looking to fill as many as 50 positions. Positions that are available include player services, cashiers, bankers, housekeeping, surveillance and security, and food and beverage. Participants at the job fair are required to bring a valid ID. Resumes are welcome, but not necessary. I'm going to say this personally. If you have a resume, bring it. Those things are extremely important to boost your chances of getting a job. Continuing the article, Hollywood Gaming said people hired during the fair are eligible to receive a $750 sign-on bonus once they have completed their first 90 days of employment. So if you want to apply, you could go to pngaming.com/careers, and you can read more at WDTN.com. We're going to now move into global and national news from the New York Times. Changes are coming to the NCAA. In a unanimous ruling, the Supreme Court said that the NCAA, which governs college sports, could not prohibit student athletes from receiving modest education-related payments. The decision doesn't mean that college football players could suddenly receive big salaries, though, but it is a milestone for those trying to change the model of college sports in the U.S., and it could open the door for broader challenges. Alan Blinder, who covers college sports for The Times, helps us explain what yesterday's ruling means. So the NCAA says its athletes are amateurs. That may have been true decades ago when competition was mostly limited to other schools in the area and less intense training schedules allowed students to balance their athletics with their schoolwork. But it's an increasingly hard argument to make, particularly for high-profile sports like football and basketball. Conferences sign lucrative TV deals, coaches earn millions of dollars, teams crisscross the country for games that could spend 50 hours per week training. The NCAA, in a non-pandemic year, has more than $1 billion flow through it. Even more money moves through the conferences and schools because it's not just TV. It's apparel and ticket sales and everything else, Allen told me. What you've seen over the years is more and more money sloshes around, and that amateurism seemed less visible to a lot of casual fans. Those who oppose paying NCAA athletes say the current compensation model, in which colleges cover the cost of attendance, including tuition, room and board, and some living expenses, is appropriate. They also say it preserves a line, however faint, between college sports and professional sports. But others, including former athletes, say the model uses players' skills and labors to generate huge revenues and offers generous compensation to everyone except those playing the game. So yesterday's Supreme Court decision does not immediately change much, though. The justices said that the schools could offer additional educator-related perks like scholarships for graduate school, internships, or computer equipment. The question before the court was a fairly narrow one, and the court responded with a narrow ruling, Allen said. But what they did was trim the NCAA's sails. They said that their power was not absolute and unchallenged. That was the most apparent and concurring opinion by Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who signaled that the court might be interested in going further in a future NCAA case. Nowhere else in America could businesses get away with agreeing not to pay their workers a fair market rate on the theory that their product is defined by not paying their workers a fair market rate, Kavanaugh wrote. To a certain extent, the Supreme Court ruling is a bit of a sideshow, Allen told the New York Times. The real change is going to affect most athletes playing now is coming a week from Thursday. That's when at least 6 states, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, New Mexico, and Texas, will enact laws allowing college athletes to profit from their names, images, and likenesses. A player could, for example, sign an endorsement deal, sell autographs, or host a training camp. Some universities worry that the patchwork rules will create unfair advantages in recruiting high school players, and many have pushed for nationwide standards. The NCAA agreed to modernize its endorsement rules in 2019, but has not yet produced its own plan. The group's president asked Congress to help by creating federal regulations, but that effort has also stalled. And now, the college sports industry is bracing for an era they expect will be marked by chaos and uncertainty. So some other quick tidbits from the New York Times. About 10 million Americans joined Medicaid during the pandemic, and total enrollment is now 80 million, which is a record high. The Biden administration has yet to distribute 55 million vaccine doses it pledged to donate by the end of this month. Most will go to COVAX, an international effort to vaccinate poorer nations. Many people in the U.S. needed persuading to get vaccinated, but not in South Texas. Why are the Tokyo Olympics happening? There are some numbers that explains it. I think we talked about it in yesterday's show as well. The White House and Barack Obama backed Senator Joe Manchin's changes to the Democrats' voting rights proposal, and the bill is headed for a roadblock in the Senate. Republicans have embraced a political realignment, domination in rural areas, and limited influence in big cities, but it comes with a cost. A judge partly dismissed lawsuits over the clearing of protesters last year before a photo op for Donald Trump. Two leading Democratic candidates in the New York City mayor's race clash on the final full day of campaigning. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed plunged Ethiopia into a civil war. Yesterday, voters went to the polls. Iran's ultra-conservative president-elect Ibrahim Raisi said he would not meet with President Biden and called for the U.S. to stick to the 2015 nuclear deal. Populist leaders in Eastern Europe rode to power on anger against elitism. They're now facing a problem. They're not very popular. Experts say that the use of Aduhelm, a newly approved Alzheimer's drug, should be limited. Carl Nassib of the Las Vegas Raiders became the first active NFL player to publicly say that he is gay. I finally feel comfortable enough to get it off my chest, he said. And now from Cheddar News Need to Know. According to Yahoo News, travel restrictions are falling across much of the world, but not in Canada. Our neighbor to the north is extending its border closure with the U.S. until at least July 21st and continuing a ban on non-essential international travel. Canadian officials say the restrictions cannot be lifted until 75% of the population is fully vaccinated. According to official data, just 15% of eligible Canadians have received both doses. Wow. That's kind of low there in Canada. From the Associated Press, it's more encouraging picture in the U.S., though, even if President Biden's 70% goal may be out of reach. More than 150 million Americans are now fully vaccinated, approaching 50% of the population. At the same time, daily deaths have fallen below 300 for the first time since the earliest days of the pandemic. From News 12, residents in New York City are going to the polls to vote for their next mayor today. The results of the Democratic mayoral primary will all but assure who will be in charge of steering the economic recovery of the country's largest city. This election is the most high-profile experiment yet because they're using ranked choice voting. Voters are asked to rank their top 5 choices for each office, theoretically giving everyone more of a say in who is elected. The latest polling shows Eric Adams, a former cop, in the lead, though the race is remarkably wide open. From SCMP, Hong Kong's influential pro-democracy newspaper Apple Daily may be forced to shut down by the end of the week after Beijing froze the accounts of the paper's backers and arrested 5 of its executives in a newsroom raid. China has been escalating its brutal crackdown on free speech and dissent in the semi-autonomous city a year after the new national security law came into effect. From CNN, the airline industry is struggling mightily amid the pickup in travel. For one, incidents involving unruly passengers have been soaring since more people have started taking back to the skies, according to the FAA. A group representing the airlines and their unions are now asking the federal government to get involved in prosecuting some of these passengers. Meanwhile, big carriers like American are canceling hundreds of flights through mid-July, due in part to a labor shortage that's making it difficult to meet skyrocketing demand. From PFT, Carl Nassib has come out as the first openly gay active NFL player. The Raiders defensive lineman posted on social media, "I just want to take a quick moment to say that I'm gay. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, but I finally feel comfortable enough to get it off my chest. I just think that representation and visibility are so important. I actually hope that one day videos like this and the whole coming out process are not just necessary." Nassib concluded by announcing a $100,000 donation to the Trevor Project, an LGBTQ nonprofit focused on suicide prevention. The NFL and the Raiders quickly put out statements saying that they stand with Nassib. From the New York Times, with Michael Phelps retired and Ryan Lochte failing to qualify for Tokyo, the U.S. swimming team is looking to debut a new generation of talent this Olympics. The U.S. will bring 11 teenagers to the Games next month, the most since 1996. Among them is Lydia Jacoby, the phenom from Alaska, who has already clocked personal bests that put her in the rankings among the world's greatest. From Variety, Steven Spielberg has inked a deal with Netflix that will have the visionary director produce and potentially direct multiple movies for the streaming platform every year. The partnership between Amblin, Spielberg's production house, and Netflix is notable because Spielberg has been known in Hollywood as something of a streaming critic. Just a few years ago, he reportedly lobbied the Oscars to disallow Netflix from competing for awards. And finally, from The Guardian, has hiccups plagued you for all of these years? A drinking straw designed to instantly cure the hiccups appears to be enormously successful, according to a medical study in which 90% of participants said that the straw worked better than any home remedies they tried. The Hickaway straw was invented by a doctor at the University of Texas who found that the extreme suction created by the straw helped reset the nerves that caused the hiccups. The product is now available online, so if you want to go get it and cure your hiccups, you can do so now. That's pretty interesting.
Hey, that's what Rich needs.
Yeah. All right, so We're going to go ahead and take a break on the Rat Morning Show. And when we come back, we're going to get into your weather forecast and latest news with Wright State University. You're listening to the Rat Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Don't go anywhere. And we're back to the Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Welcome back to the Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. We're going to get into your weather forecast now from tomorrow.io. The current weather at Wright State University is mostly clear with a temperature of 58 degrees. It's a little chilly out there this morning. The wind is coming from the north at 8 miles per hour. The relative humidity is 73%. The dew point is 49 degrees. The visibility is 10 miles, and the air quality is good. Your hyperlocal weather forecast for the next 12 hours shows mostly clear skies for the next 12 hours. The temperature is going to reach 60 degrees just before 10 a.m. And then it's going to climb to 65 degrees by 1 p.m. It's going to get into the 68 degrees, which is going to be our peak temperature, according to tomorrow.io, at 3 p.m. Then it's going to start cooling off slowly as the evening progresses, starting at 7 p.m. Your extended weather forecast for the area from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and the National Weather Service. Today, sunny, high around 70. Tonight, mostly clear, low around 50. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high in the upper 70s. Wednesday night, mostly clear, low in the upper 50s. Thursday, it's going to get much warmer, sunny, high in the mid 80s. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers developing overnight, low in the upper 60s. Friday, partly sunny in the morning with a chance of showers developing in the afternoon, high in the mid 80s. Friday night, a chance of showers, low around 70. Saturday, showers, high in the lower 80s. And finally, Saturday night, showers and possibly a thunderstorm, low in the upper 60s. So here's the latest announcement for Wright State University. The systems will be unavailable from June 30th to July 1st. So to accommodate the fiscal year-end reconciliation, the following systems will be unavailable from 6 p.m. on Wednesday, June 30th, until 1 a.m. on Thursday, July 1st. Wings Express, Banner Admin, Parking Services, Wright One Card Services, Right By, Payments and Salesforce, in other words, admissions and orientation, Student Onboarding and Salesforce for admissions, and all online payments. For questions regarding this maintenance, you could contact the CATS Help Desk at 937-775-4827 or email helpdesk@wright.edu. You could become a disease detective next semester. Are you curious about how infectious diseases are tracked and investigated? The Wright State University Disease Detectives course highlights the history of epidemiological concepts, discusses current investigative tactics, and prepares you for a future in public health. Develop skills to track infectious disease. You will acquire the skills to collect, analyze, and present data on agent, host, and environmental factors contributing to the cause and spread of infectious diseases. You can learn from experts. Learn how to investigate diseases like HIV, foodborne illnesses, and COVID-19 from public health experts. Practice what you learn and take part in real-world infectious disease case studies that track outbreaks, epidemics, and pandemics. So register for PPH 2200 now. The class size is limited. For more information, contact Amanda Hinson-Enslin, the assistant professor at Boonshaw School of Medicine. There's also a link on the Wings page, wings.wright.edu, that you could check out for more information. The Freshman Outdoor Orientation Trip, or FOOT, is a unique wilderness experience that will take place the week before school begins. Trained upperclassmen lead backpacking trips among the Appalachian Trail in Tennessee. FOOT offers an amazing opportunity for incoming students to meet a small group of new classmates and establish relationships with older student leaders. You will hike, camp, cook outdoors, play games, swim in waterfalls, and spend a day giving back to the mountains by learning how to build and maintain hiking trails. These trips are now designed for all levels of experience. No prior backpacking experience is necessary. It is now open to both incoming freshmen and sophomores who missed out on a classic intro to college in 2020. The dates of this trip is August 11th through the 18th, and the cost includes transportation, trip leaders, equipment, permit fees, camping fees, and all meals on location. You could go to your Wings account to view the costs, and there's a link there that you could click to register for the event. Moving on now to campus news, we're going to start with the Wright State newsroom. Wright State faculty member Awad Halabi wins fellowship award to conduct research in Jerusalem on Islamic activism. So Awad Halabi, PhD Associate Professor of History and Religion at Wright State University, received a fellowship award to conduct research in Jerusalem, focusing on an Islamic activist who reflects historical shifts in Palestinian identity. The $7,000 U.S. Fellowship Award from the U.S.-based Palestine American Research Center will enable Halabi, to work in Jerusalem and possibly Amman, Jordan, next to spring for up to 4 months. My research focuses on an Islamic activist who reflects the shifts in Palestinian identity from the late Ottoman period in Palestine to the end of the British rule after World War II, said Halabi. The study will examine the life of Arab and political figure Sheikh Abd al-Qadir al-Muzaffar from 1917 to 1949. I'm pretty sure I said that name wrong. The research can reveal how this historical figure shaped questions about national identity, colonialism, and religious practice in Palestine from the closing days of the Ottoman rule to the end of the British colonialism, Halabi said. Al-Muzaffar began his political career as a mufti, which is a legal scholar, in the 4th Ottoman Army. Immediately after World War I, he attempted to recruit the new Arab government to Damascus to support the Palestinian cause against Zionism. During British rule in Palestine, he became an active supporter of the Palestinian national movement and served in prominent Islamic and nationalist groups. Throughout this period, he met with high ranking British officials, led political demonstrations, and delivered public speeches and sermons. His contribution to these issues emerges from his unique ability to blend his stature as a religious leader who easily incorporated religious rhetoric and idioms to address modern political issues, said Halabai. During the British Mandate in Palestine, al-Masafar exemplified how Palestinian political leaders, particularly the elite, promoted a conservative form of diplomatic opposition to British colonial rule, avoiding militancy and violence. Halabai's current project, Palestinian Rituals of Identity, the Prophet Moses Festival in Jerusalem, 1850 to 1948, examines the different social and political groups that participated in Palestine's largest Islamic celebration. It is under review with the University of Texas Press. Also from the Wright State newsroom, Wright State acting major Megan Ledford wins playwriting competition. Megan Ledford, an acting major at Wright State University, won a competition for young playwrights for her first full-length play. Ledford, who will be a senior this fall, was named the co-winner of the Jackie Demeline Regional Collegiate Playwriting Competition, sponsored by Ensemble Theater Cincinnati. The competition is a juried cash award given annually to support the early work and career of an emerging playwright. Ledford's winning play, High Maintenance, received a full-staged reading performed by professional actors and produced by Ensemble Theater Cincinnati. The reading is available on YouTube if you want to check it out. Redford described the rehearsal process for the reading as an amazing learning experience. Working with the actors at ETC has given me a much better sense of what parts of the story are working and which ones are not. And I think overall it's given me very valuable information about where to take the show in the future, she said. High Maintenance is a comedy about Andy, a 24-year-old woman who is struggling with how quickly her life is changing. While her friends are finding love and figuring out who they are, Andy is floundering to understand who she is. Her life becomes particularly difficult when her apartment building's trusted maintenance man breaks his hip. His replacement, Charles, challenges everything Andy holds dear and forces her to confront her increasingly apparent shortcomings. Ledford was inspired to write High Maintenance in response to the idea that life in your early 20s is an amazing peak where you discover who you are. In my experience, it's been a lot messier than that, she said. I started writing the show with the idea of it being a love letter to the early 20-somethings that aren't making a smooth transition into adulthood. When she started writing High Maintenance, Ledford intended to create a 45-minute one act, but she was having so much fun writing in the weird world that she just kept writing. Trying to make a story that could entertain an audience for 2 whole hours, and not just boring, proved to be a real challenge, but in the end, I'm glad the show has grown into what it is now, Ledford said. I think the expanded runtime forced me to understand that these characters much more deeply, and therefore makes the story much more impactful. Although she had previously written shorter content, including comedy sketches and a one-act play, High Maintenance is Ledford's first full-length show. Ledford got the idea to enter the playwriting competition after she told Bruce Cromer, professor of acting at Wright State, that she was struggling to finish her play. Cromer suggested that setting a deadline could help, so Ledford promised herself she would complete High Maintenance by the competition's deadline. Ledford got into acting when she was about 5 years old, when her mom signed up for a community theater production of The Wizard of Oz. I instantly fell in love, she said. I've been performing in one form or another ever since. Ledford majored in acting at Wright State's theater program because of her love for theater and storytelling. I wanted to hone my acting skills so I could tell a variety of stories in a clear and entertaining way, she said. At Wright State, Ledford played number 2 in Wright State Theater's production of The Wolves and performed in Karens, a comedy of very bad manners, and a live radio production of War of the Worlds. Now we move on over to the Wright State Guardian. Vaximillion's last day. Area students voiced their thoughts. This article was written by Kaylee Rains. The fifth and final Vaximillion's drawing is scheduled for today, and winners will be announced on Wednesday. Governor Mike DeWine introduced the Ohio Vaximillion in May in hopes of encouraging more Ohio adults to get vaccinated, but the results of the effort are debatable as Ohioans question if the money could have been used for something more beneficial. According to the Associated Press analysis of Vaximillion, the rate of Ohio vaccinations increased by 33% once the lottery was announced. This data indicates a significant increase in vaccinations once the sweepstakes were implemented. However, there is debate about whether these numbers were actually due to the lottery or if those increases in vaccinations were for people who had already previously decided to become vaccinated. An anonymous Miami University alumni believes that this lottery could be resulting in the opposite of its intended effect and further dividing undecided adults who are considering vaccination. As for people who are undecided, at least from those I know in my personal life, they say they're worried about long-term effects on the body or about pre-existing health problems within their families. They aren't necessarily waiting around for a monetary incentive and don't seem to be swayed by the contest, the anonymous source said. There is debate about whether or not these funds would have been more beneficial if used to fund social programs and other incentives. The tax dollars could be used for other things such as fixing roads, giving to hospitals, or creating items for society, Wright State University student Aisha Idris said. I do think that the dollars would be of better use going directly to the Ohioans that need them. However, if more people are vaccinated and businesses are more comfortable opening back up, this will be good for Ohioans and help to get the money flowing back into the economy, Sinclair Community College student Daniel Spire said. This money has also been seen as a bribe and negatively impacted the intentions behind the vaccination efforts. I think the problem is that those who are vehemently against the vaccine and don't trust the science behind it will stubbornly insist that they can't be bought with incentives and claim that such incentives are being pushed onto them so that they'll be more willing to harm themselves with the vaccine, an anonymous Miami University alumni said. Whether people want to get vaccinated or not should not be due to some benefits that may be able to be received or gained, as it seems like a type of experiment where people are offered to participate due to the benefits, Idris said. Wright State student Alexander Deng views the Vaximillion as a great idea that has yielded successful results. While unconventional, I feel that the results are self-explanatory. More people have become vaccinated as this program was put in place, so I believe it is a good use of the money despite it being a bit bizarre compared to how other states are handling this, Deng said. So the Vaximillion's final winner will be announced on June the 23rd, and the program's effectiveness is currently inconclusive as the effectiveness is not definitively observed. So, Laughing Chipmunk, out of your curiosity, what do you think about the Vaximillion lottery? And do you think that it is an effective way to get people to get the vaccine?
It's a bribe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
It's a big old bribe. Not just the lottery, but the offering of free food and free services, to vaccinated people. It's like, okay, there are people out there who either don't want to get vaccinated or can't get vaccinated for some health reason or other. And it's not fair to them, offering all this free stuff to vaccinated people, and, the unvaccinated people are like, what the heck?
Well, I
Uh,
I would disagree on it being unfair to those who choose not to get vaccinated because they made the choice not to get vaccinated, so that's on them. But I do agree with you on it being unfair to those who can't get vaccinated for medical reasons. Because, for them, they might want to get vaccinated, but can't get vaccinated because of some sort of allergy or something like that. And then these incentives would be unfair to them because, hey, they want to get vaccinated, but they medically can't. And because they can't get vaccinated, now they can't get these incentives.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, it's just a big old bribe in general.
Yeah.
Don't be bribing me to get vaccinated. If a person wants to get vaccinated, that's their choice. If they don't, that's their choice, and what really, ticks me off is that like on social media, people that don't just say that they don't want to get vaccinated or they're afraid to or whatever, then other people get nasty and say, well, you're the one that's going to die, you know. How do you know they're going to die? You're not their doctor,
I mean,
so it's like,
the mortality rate of COVID is not even, it's like 1% or something like that. So it's,
yeah,
I mean, 1% is still is still high when you think about it, but it's not that high compared to other pandemics. Um, but you do have to keep in mind that COVID is also very contagious. So you do have to keep in mind that. And, 1% of 8 billion people in the world is still 80 million. So if 1% of people happen to pass away from COVID, which that's not going to happen, uh, this could be a lot less than that. But still, 1% is 80 million. So assuming that everybody in the world got COVID 19, if the mortality rate is 1%, that would mean that 80 million people would pass away. So it's still high, but it's not as high as the mortality rate of other diseases and viruses. But like I said, you got to
yeah,
keep in mind COVID 19 is also very contagious. A lot of people have been getting it, especially this new Delta variant that's going around.
yeah. Well, I figure, okay, I haven't even gotten, the least little symptom of it. I've been very careful. I've been, going with the CDC guidelines. I've been being careful for what, over a year now. And I'm still healthy. I'm alive and kicking. So if I can get through this, I can get through anything. I
Yeah.
mean, I will get vaccinated, eventually, but I got to take care of some health issues first. But I will get vaccinated eventually. But right now, I'm doing fine. Rich is doing fine. You know,
And it's not like you two get out all that often anyway.
no, we
So
don't. We don't. We're a couple hermits. I'm telling you, we hardly ever go out.
that's one of the reasons why I got vaccinated was because I'm out all the time. So,
Oh yeah, I
I
know.
wanted to
Yeah.
get the vaccine because of that. And even now, like I'm technically fully vaccinated at this point, but I'm still periodically wearing my mask, especially in the studio
Yeah.
because I don't want to spread germs on the equipment. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so those of you who are tuning in with us, let us know what you think. Is it fair or unfair for vaccinated people to be offered these incentives for getting vaccinated compared to those who either choose to not get vaccinated or cannot get vaccinated because of medical reasons? Let us know. WWSU1069.org. That's WWSU1069.org. Click the green play button. Click chat with DJ. Leave a message there for us. You could also go to our Discord server, leave a message there, or you could give us a phone call at 937 775 5555. That's 937 775 5555. Let us know what you think about vaccination incentives. We'll keep we'll give it a few minutes to see if anybody wants to hop in on that. But I mean, I'm going to personally say that I kind of enjoy the incentives a little bit. Like, I get how they're unfair, but I'm a broke college student, so it helps a
Well, I
little
mean,
bit.
you can use, free stuff, anytime. I mean, that's a good benefit for you.
Hmm. I don't know about this $1 million lottery thing though. I have my quarrels with it because like $1 million and only 5 people are winning the lottery. I think it could have been divvied up in a different way, like $100 gift cards, and many more people would get those instead of just 5 people getting $1 million.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe some other sort of incentive. Maybe you get an extra stimulus or something if you get fully vaccinated. I don't know. but
Well, I mean, I like those ideas. I do. You got some good ideas there.
but again, like you said, it at what point do we say that it's unfair to, especially to those who medically cannot get the vaccination? Um, there's yet to be a secondary treatment other than the controversial antibody cocktail for COVID-19. So
Hmm.
those who can't get the vaccine, they don't have anything to protect them other than wearing masks and socially distancing just yet.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that even if we don't reach the inauguration level, which I don't think we are, this is something we're going to be dealing with on a year to year basis, just like the flu.
Hmm.
The fact that we're approaching 50% of the population now fully vaccinated, even if the other 50% never got vaccinated, um, things are still better for them because they are less likely to contract COVID-19 from somebody else, especially those who are vaccinated. So,
Yeah.
by getting vaccinated, you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping other people because you're not spreading the virus. So,
Hmm.
in a sense, despite there being people who are not getting vaccinated, the fact that we do have people getting vaccinated means that those who aren't get vaccinated don't have to worry as much anymore.
Yeah.
Well, except for the Delta variant, but that's and the other thing is the other question that is being posed is how long are these vaccines going to be efficient? At what point or at what time? And we know it's going to happen, or at least we're pretty certain it's going to happen. Is the COVID-19 going to spin off a variant that's immune to the vaccine, or at least, partially immune to the vaccine? Uh, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen at some point. And that's, one of the reasons why I think the COVID-19 vaccine is going to become an annual thing, just like the flu.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I read that the vaccines will be effective against the variant
Yeah,
too.
luckily the vaccines are still effective against all variants, but yeah, like
Yeah.
I said, at some point, my prediction is that there's going to be a mutation that's going to be at least partially immune to the vaccines, and so they're going to need to tweak the vaccine and give boosters, which they're already talking about booster shots for the fall season, the fall flu season,
Yeah.
in order to continue protection against COVID.
Yeah. I
All right.
wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised to see that.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and take a top of the hour station ID break. When we come back, it is time for your daily reflection on the Right Morning Show. Stick around. You're listening to the Right Morning Show, WWSU 106.9.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk
Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. All right, welcome back to the Wright Morning Show. It is time for the Daily Reflection, and this Daily Reflection comes from Tiny Buddha, written by Ellen Bard. Today we're going to be talking about 45 simple self-care practices that you can do for a healthier mind, body, and soul. Here's a quote from Brian Andreas. There are days I drop words of comfort on myself like falling leaves and remember that it is enough to be taken care of by myself. So the article begins, do you ever forget to take care of yourself? I know you're busy and finding the time to take proper care of yourself can be hard. But if you don't, it won't be long before you're battered from exhaustion and operating in a mental fog where it's hard to care about anything or anyone. I should know. A few years ago, I had a corporate job in London, working a regular 60-hour week. I enjoyed working with my clients and colleagues, and I wanted to do well, but I had no life. I regularly took care of myself, and I was always focused on goals, achievements, and meeting the excessive expectations I had for myself. My high tolerance for discomfort meant that I juggled all of the balls I had in the air, but at the expense of being a well-rounded human being. So I made an unusual choice. I quit my job and moved to Thailand to work in a freelance capacity across my different countries and companies, which enabled me to set my own hours and engagements. I began to take care of myself better, scheduling in time alone for exercise and for fun. I got to know myself better and know what I needed, not just to function, but to flourish. But guess what? At the end of last year, I spent Christmas alone in bed, completely exhausted. Why did this happen? Well, I've been running my busy website and consulting in 7 countries in just 2 months. I forgot to take care of myself again, and I got a nasty case of strep throat. The strep throat was a harsh reminder that self-care isn't something you do once and tick off the list. It is the constant repetition of many tiny habits, which together soothe you and make sure you're at your optimum, emotionally, physically, and mentally. The best way to do this is to implement tiny self-care habits every day, to regularly include in your life a little bit of love and attention for your own body, mind, and soul. So we're going to pause for a moment. I'm going to turn it over to Laughing Chipmunk. What are some self-care practices that you do, self-care habits that you have every day?
Drink enough water, for one, plenty of water. Keep up on my electrolytes. Take my supplements. Just your usual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Try and eat, whenever I'm hungry, and try to eat right, which is very hard for me to do.
I think it's hard for a lot of us, especially during the COVID pandemic.
Oh yeah. But yeah, my religious daily routine self-care is the supplements and drinking plenty of water and keeping my electrolytes, going, and because I get tired so easily, and
Yep, same here. So we're going to talk about 45 things. The following ideas are tiny self-care activities you could fit into a short amount of time, usually with little cost. You could pick one from each category and include them in your life this week. So here's some self-care ideas for the mind. Start a compliments file. Document the great things that people say about you to read later. Number 2, scratch off a lurker on your to-do list. something that's been there for ages and you'll never do. Number 3, change up the way you make decisions. Decide something with your heart if you usually use your head, or if you tend to go with your heart, decide with your head. Number 4, go cloud watching. Lie on your back, relax, and watch the sky.
Oh, I miss doing that.
Yeah, just don't do it during a thunderstorm. Number 5, take another route to work. Mixing up your routine in small ways creates new neutral pathways in the brain to keep it healthy. I've heard about this one before, especially we've talked a lot about the autopilot syndrome when you're driving and
Oh,
suddenly you
yeah.
zone out and then suddenly you're where you are and you have no recollection of ever getting there.
I remember that. Yeah.
So if you take different routes periodically, that could help with the autopilot syndrome as well, because
Uh-huh.
you're doing something. You're taking a new route, a new route, which is different scenery. It's unfamiliar to you, so you got to focus.
Yeah.
Number 6, pay complete attention to something you usually do on autopilot. We were just talking about that. Perhaps brushing your teeth, driving, eating, or performing your morning routine. Number 7, goof around for a bit. Schedule 5 minutes of play or non directed activity several times throughout your day. Number 8, create a deliberate habit and routinize something small in your life by doing it in the same way each day, whether what you wear on Tuesdays or picking up the dental floss before you brush. Number 9, fix a small annoyance at home that's been nagging you. Maybe that's a lost button, a drawer that's stuck, a light bulb that's gone or burned out, etc.
Or a husband.
Or you fix your husband.
I'm just kidding.
That's funny. Number 10, punctuate your day with a mini meditation with 1 minute of awareness of your thoughts, feelings, and sensations, 1 minute of focused attention on breathing, and 1 minute of awareness of the body as a whole. Number 11, be selfish. Do one thing today just because it makes you happy. Number 12, do a mini declutter. Recycle 3 things from your wardrobe that you don't love or regularly wear. Number 13, unplug for an hour. Switch everything to airplane mode and free yourself from the constant bings of social media and email. Number 14, get out of your comfort zone, even if it's just talking to a stranger at the bus stop. Number 15, edit your social media feeds and take out any negative people. You could just mute them. You don't have to delete them. So, Laffy Chimuk, which of these 15 self-care ideas for the mind do you think you're going to try? Besides
Let's
fixing
see
your
what.
husband.
Anyway, he doesn't even know I'm talking about him. Anyway, um, the things I'm gonna do. Well, I mean, I've already weeded out my Facebook. So
I don't
that's
even
done.
have a Facebook, so
Yeah, I know you don't, but I do, and I hate it. But anyway, yeah, when you said something about going through your wardrobe
hmm
and donating like 3 things or getting rid of 3 things, I need to
yeah.
get rid of about 300 because I'm serious. I got bags of clothes that I've gotten too fat for, and I don't know why I'm holding on to them. I keep thinking, oh yeah, when I lose weight, I can wear these clothes again. It's like when. How about if I lose weight?
Oh, when you
It's
lose
gonna
weight, but
happen.
no, when you lose weight, you gotta get into that when mindset.
Oh well, I've been saying
But
when for about 5 years now. So
But you could always give your, losing weight's not a quick deal. It's going to take some time. So what you could do is you could donate what you have so that other people can use it. And then once you lose weight, when you lose weight, not if, then you could get new stuff as a reward for
yeah,
losing weight.
that,
There you go. There's your reward.
yeah. There we go.
So
So
yeah.
you just worked it all out for me. So
Yeah. All right. Self-care ideas for the body. Here are 15 things that you could do to take care of your body. Number 1, give your body 10 minutes of mindful attention. Use the body scan technique to check in with each part of your body. So, those of you who don't know what the body scan technique is, it's a meditation that allows you to scan your body and notice any sensations that your body is giving you. If you don't know how to do it, there are plenty of resources on Google that you could search for. There's also an article on mindful.org that talks about the body scan technique. Number 2, oxygenate by taking 3 deep breaths. Breathe into your abdomen and let the air puff out your stomach and chest. Number 3, get down and boogie. Put on your favorite upbeat record and shake your booty. Number 4,
shake,
stretch. Say
shake
what now?
it, baby.
Yeah.
Shake it, baby.
Number 4, stretch out the kinks. If you're at work, you can always head to the bathroom to avoid strange looks. Number 5,
Okay.
I'm not sure what they mean by stretching out the kinks. I wonder if like they're talking about just stretching in general, like your
Probably.
muscles and things like that.
Yeah.
Number 5, run or walk, depending on your current physical health, for a few minutes, or go up and down the stairs 3 times. Number 6, narrow your food choices. Pick 2 healthy breakfasts, if I can pluralize nouns correctly.
Like breakfasts.
Breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, and rotate for the week. Number 7, activate your self-soothing system. Stroke your own arm, or if that feels too weird, moisturize, or do whatever else soothes you. Number 8, get to know yourself intimately. Look lovingly and without judgment at yourself naked. Use a mirror to make sure you get to know all of you.
Okay.
Number 9, make one small change to your diet for the week. Drink an extra glass of water each day or have an extra portion of veggies each meal.
Oh, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Eat more veggies. Yeah.
Number 10, give your body a treat. Pick something from your wardrobe that feels great next to your skin. Number 11, be still. Sit somewhere green and be quiet for a few minutes. Number 12, get 15 minutes of sun, especially if you're in a cold climate. Use sunscreen if appropriate. Number 13, inhale an upbeat smell. Try peppermint to suppress food cravings and boost mood and motivation. Number 14, have a good laugh. Read a couple of comic strips that you enjoy. For inspiration, try Calvin and Hobbes, Dilbert, or XKCD. Number 15, take a quick nap. 10 to 20 minutes can reduce your sleep debt and leave you ready for action. I think we mentioned about that power naps. Those are important because if you sleep more than 20 minutes, then you're going to end up getting into the sleep cycle, and then you're going to either wake up more tired than you were when you first took the nap, and or you're going to mess up your sleep cycle at night.
Yeah, true. That's happened to me, and it's not fun.
All right. 15 ideas for self-care for the soul. Number 1, imagine that you are your best friend. If you were, what would you tell yourself right now? Now go to the mirror and say it to yourself. Number 2.
Hey, best friend, don't comb your hair.
Yeah. Hey, best friend, after you comb your hair, use the comb to see if you can make your cats gag.
Oh, gosh, I knew that was coming. Oh, okay, next.
Number 2, use your commute for a beauty scavenger hunt. Find 5 unexpected beautiful things on your way to work. Number
Oh, okay.
like maybe flowers or something like that. That's probably what they're talking about. Like or that pretty tree that you pass by every time you come and leave here.
I know. I love that tree.
Number 3, help someone. Carry a bag, open a door, or pick up an extra carton of milk for a neighbor. Number 4, check in with your emotions. Sit quietly and just name without judgment what you're feeling. Number 5, write out your thoughts. Go for 15 minutes on anything bothering you. Then let it go as you bum or bin the paper. You could also burn it if you want to do that too.
Yeah.
Number 6, choose who you spend your time with today. Hang out with radiators who emit enthusiasm and positivity and not drains whose pessimism and negativity robs energy. Number 7, this one's for you, Mom. Stroke a pet.
Yeah, yes, especially kitties.
If you don't have one, go to the park and find one. Of course, ask first.
Yeah.
Number 8, get positive feedback. Ask 3 good friends to tell you what they love about you. Oh, something that just came to mind about the stroke a pet one. Another thing you could do is if you can't find pets that people will allow you to pet at the park, go to an animal shelter and pet some animals there. I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
they'll really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Number 9, make a small connection. Have a few sentences of conversation with someone in customer service, such as sales assistant or a barista. Number 10, splurge a little. Buy a small luxury as a way of valuing yourself. Number 11, have a self date. Spend an hour alone doing something that nourishes you, such as reading, a hobby, visiting a museum or gallery, etc. Number 12, exercise a signature strength. Think about what you're good at and find an opportunity for it today. Number 13, take a home spa. Have a long bath or shower, sit around in your bathrobe and read magazines. Just don't read the tabloids with all of the dramatic gossip and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what you need? You need to get the magazines with those little slips that have those perfume scents in them.
Oh my gosh. Do they still make
I don't
those?
even know, but those were fun.
I know. Yeah, some of the perfume, like if I really liked it, I would like rub it on my wrist and my neck, and
Hmm.
yeah, that was fun.
Number 14, ask for help. Big or small, but reach out. And finally, number 15, plan a 2-day holiday for next weekend. Turn off your phone, tell people you'll be away, and then do something new in your own town. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's going on here in the Dayton area. So, like, get down there to Riverscape and do something down there. Go to the Levitt Pavilion and enjoy the free concerts they have. Go to the Oregon District and check out all of the local businesses down there. There's a lot of different things you could do in Dayton. Little and often wins the day. With a little bit of attention to your own self care, the fog will lift. You'll feel more connected to yourself and the world around you. You'll delight in small pleasures, and nothing will seem quite as difficult as it did before. Like that car, you must keep yourself tuned up to make sure that you don't need a complete overhaul. Incorporating a few of these tiny self care ideas in your day will help keep you in tune. Which one will you try first? And that was written by Ellen Bard.
Hmm. Very nice. Very interesting. Very informative.
Mm-hmm. And now, I think we will finish off our daily reflection with a Chicken Soup for the Soul story. This one comes from Chicken Soup for the Soul, Navigating Elder Care and Dementia.
Mm.
If you keep your heart open through everything, your pain can become your greatest ally in life's search for love and wisdom. It's a quote from Rumi. So here the story begins, written by Margaret Bloch. My husband won the game show. Hodler, he shouted triumphantly, waving his arms. He was the only contestant who knew the name of the 19th century Swiss painter, Ferdinand Hodler. I was by his side during his moment of glory, a dream that floated away when his unintelligible shout and waving right arm woke us up. Perplexing moments like this aren't unusual for someone with Parkinson's disease, a diagnosis typically associated with older adults. It's as if my husband is living with the geriatric versions of himself with glitchy neural connections, camouflaged inside his mid-50s body. If anyone saw us on the tennis court, they would be surprised to learn that he is experiencing young-onset Parkinson's disease, a diagnosis that accounts for 2 to 10% of the 1 million people with Parkinson's in the U.S. The two of us are hiding in plain sight. The COVID-19 quarantine gave us privacy and time to pivot from grief and fear to learning to cope before we told colleagues, friends, and family about his incurable degenerative disease. We used to enjoy sharing our once funny anecdote about the time a decade ago when he gave up drinking coffee to try and improve his sleep. He became, in my view, intolerably foggy. I told him in jest that if he didn't begin drinking coffee again or see a doctor to get checked out, I would begin divorce proceedings. Whew. Ouch. To our surprise, his neuropsychologist's detailed assessment offered just one recommendation: drink a single cup of coffee every morning. Our story is less amusing in retrospect because that assessment omitted important diagnostic clues. My husband, a full professor at an elite university in Boston, a biologist, could no longer do routine math in his head. He was finding it more challenging to follow conversations, review scientific papers, and manage his research lab. For the next 10 years, our fulfilling life together rolled forward as the parts of his brain that generate and receive dopamine invisibly deteriorated. Our children made their way through high school and college, freeing us to devote more time to work and to enjoy renewed friendships, museums, music, and travel. On days warmer than 45 degrees, we ducked out midweek to play tennis at a park near our home. Snowstorms were our chance to disappear for quick ski getaways, if I could talk. Squee. As my husband changed in unexpected ways, I adjusted with an open heart. He could no longer smell with his bath towel when his bath towel needed to be replaced, so I hung clean replacements. Travel became stressful, so I anticipated and planned every detail in advance. Then one day, during a meeting 3 years ago, he noticed his left foot had a slight tremor. He immediately suspected Parkinson's, as his grandfather had died with this disease soon after we were married. After my husband received a definitive diagnosis a year later with a brain scan and genetic test, his doctor reacted with an expletive. Our social worker wept at our first meeting. I'm challenged to accept this future for the person I will always love, whom I've loved since I was 19, whose kindness, integrity, quick wit, steadiness, creativity, and wisdom have been the joy of my life. During the first year after diagnosis, we spent countless hours secretly battening down the hatches for the storm ahead, assessing our finances, disability, life, and long-term insurance coverage, and updating our wills and related end-of-life documents. We met with therapists, connected with support groups, and enrolled him in a clinical trial. Having Parkinson's is like a part-time job with a complex regimen of daily exercises for body, voice, and mind. He must somehow fit in hours of cardio every week, the only intervention that slows the progression of this disease. Tennis is our favorite therapeutic, a source of joy. And a few months before the coronavirus quarantine began, his forehead vanished. Despite his best efforts, his racket would stop mid-swing, Then, the risk of exposure to COVID 19 deterred us from playing tennis for many months. After that long stretch of inactivity, a tremor emerged in his hands. Finally, we felt safe to play tennis wearing masks. He worked steadily to reclaim a solid forehand, to recover endurance and agility, and now he hopes to regain the toss for his serve. The tremor remains, leading to many fragmented nights of sleep. The pandemic opened new, more convenient virtual ways to access medical care, support, and connection. We joined online support groups for people with Parkinson's and their caregivers, an onboarding class for the newly diagnosed, and a mindfulness cognitive clinical trial to help us prepare for our challenging future. Someday soon, to try and relieve some Parkinson's motor symptoms, he may turn to medications, but these come with vexing side effects. Other than exercise, there is no clinical treatment available for the imper- imperceptible non motor symptoms that matter most to the two of us: his uncharacteristic apathy and poor focus. Last summer, amid the isolation and stress of the 2020 quarantine, I invented my own therapeutic practice, Scotch mindfulness. This involves sitting barefoot on a chair in our backyard with my toes in the grass, sipping a shot of scotch diluted with ice, weeping as I listen to a guided mindfulness meditation. Accepting my grief seems to help it to dissipate. We were inching towards sharing our news, feeling steadier, more ready to absorb and cope with the grief and questions that will come our way. Sharing our reality with friends and family may mean greater emotional support for us, a chance to glean wisdom from our four parents who are in remarkably good health in their 80s and 90s, a phase of our marriage we may never reach. Together, we are cobbling together the courage to move forward. My husband practices swinging his arms when he walks and smiles in the mirror to fend off a frozen gait and mask expression. He skips and jumps rope for a burst of cardio and maintains a steady routine to maintain his current vision of optimal well being. 30 years into our marriage, I understand love as a verb. Love is what we do with and for each other as we adjust to our new reality. I am learning how to help him as I know he would help me if the tables were turned. I don't know how or where I will find the courage to endure what lies ahead, but for now, I will nurture my soul when my body is worn out, and I will attend to my body when my soul despairs. I will focus on each day because for us, today is as good as it will ever be. And that is written by Margaret Bloch. So, what do you think, Laughing Chipmunk?
It's it's sad that her husband got Parkinson's.
Parkinson's, yeah.
Parkinson's. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's no disease to mess with, that's for sure.
yeah.
All right.
But
We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, it is Tuesday, so it is Trivia Tuesday on the Rat Morning Show. So everybody stick around. Grab your friends and family around the radio to play a nice game of trivia. You're listening to the Rat Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was
And we're back to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. It's Trivia Tuesday on Wright Morning Show, WWSU 106.9 FM. So today is Chris Christopherson's birthday. So whether you're a fan of country, pop, or folk music, chances are you know at least some of the songs written and performed by Chris Christopherson, who celebrates his birthday today. So we're going to go ahead and begin the quiz. Everybody gather your friends and family around the radio, and here we go. So the first question, which singer was Chris married to? Was Chris married to Shelley West, Rita Coolidge, Crystal Gale, or Linda Ronstadt, excuse me. So which singer was Chris?
It's Ronstadt.
Ronstadt, is that your guess?
No, I'm just telling you how to pronounce the name.
Oh. So
Linda Ronstadt.
Which singer was Chris married to? Shelley West, Rita Coolidge, Crystal Gale, or Linda Ronstadt? Time is up. The answer is Rita Coolidge. So neither Rita nor Chris could handle being with another performer. The marriage broke up very bitterly, but they have come to terms throughout the years. Next one. Which song are the following lyrics from? Some folks called it suicide, others blamed the speed. Was it Billy D., Epitaph, Black and Blue, Blame It on the Stones, or Christian Soldier? So again, which song are the following lyrics from? Some folks called it suicide, others blamed the speed. Was that Billy D., Epitaph, Black and Blue, Blame It on the Stones, or Christian Soldier? Got about 5 seconds left to lock in your answer.
I have no idea.
I have no idea who Chris is or any of these questions, personally. The answer is Billy D. There were many rock and country stars that have been attributed to this song. Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin were high on the lists. Next question. In Casey's Last Ride, what did the young woman put on to impress Casey? A nightie, makeup, stockings, or underwear? So in Casey's Last Ride, what did the young woman, the worker, put on to impress Casey? Nightie, makeup, stockings, or underwear? Got about 10 or so seconds left to lock in your answers.
I'm gonna guess stockings. Just a wild guess.
Gonna say stockings. All right, let's see what the answer is. The answer is stockings. You got it.
Oh my God.
There is some great metaphors and similes in the song. Listen to it once, twice, 3 times. You will come up with something different. At least I did. Next question. Depending on which version of the song you've heard, Bobby and I do various things while those windshield wipers slap time. What are we up to in the Janis Joplin version? I hold the driver's hand, I hold Bobby's hand, Bobby claps hands, or the driver claps hands. So depending on which version of the song you've heard, Bobby and I do various things while those windshield wipers slap time. What are we up to in this Janis Joplin version? I hold the driver's hand, I hold Bobby's hand, Bobby claps hands, or the driver claps hands. Got just a couple of seconds left. Time is up. The answer, I hold Bobby's hand. In Christopherson's original, Bobby is a girl, but Janis Joplin changed Bobby's gender. I guess back then it just wasn't too manly for a guy to be clapping along to the music. In the new millennium, who knows what they've been doing in the truck's cab? Shooting at the cops who were chasing them, probably. Has anybody released a gangsta version of Bobby McGee, I wonder? Oh my gosh. Next question. Driving down the road to New Orleans, we plumbed the depths of the driver's knowledge of something. What was it? Was it animal husbandry, jokes, politics, or songs? So driving down the road to New Orleans, we plumbed the depths of the driver's knowledge of something. What was it? And this comes from me and Bobby McGee. Is it animal husbandry, jokes, politics, or songs? You got about 10 seconds to lock in your answer. Let's see.
I don't know.
Driver, plumb the depths of the driver's knowledge of something. That's interesting. I wonder if it's songs. Yep, it is songs. Haha. We sang every song the driver knew. It should take about an hour and a half to get from Baton Rouge to New Orleans. If we estimate that the average song length was 3 minutes and then build in about 10% leeway for arguing about the lyrics and choosing the next song, it appears that the driver knew 27 songs. Huh. It's an interesting mathematical calculation there. Next question. From me and Bobby McGee. Who was Bobby looking for? A home, a miracle, an honest man, or an adventure? So from me and Bobby McGee, what was Bobby looking for? A home, a miracle, an honest man, or an adventure? Got about 12 seconds left to lock in your answer. Me and Bobby McGee. Home, miracle, honest man. I don't know. The correct answer...
Oh, never mind.
The correct answer is a home. Yeah, sorry, the time ran out there. If you're looking for a place to call home, Salinas wouldn't be a bad place to start, at least according to the Chamber of Commerce. John Steinbeck was from around here, and he thought well of it, too. Question number 7. From Anatomy of a Song, The Pilgrim, Chapter 33. What is not something the pilgrim is described as in the chorus? A poet, a pusher, a professor, or a preacher? So again, from Anatomy of a Song, The Pilgrim, Chapter 33. What is not something the pilgrim is described as in the chorus? A poet, pusher, professor, or preacher? You got about 8 seconds left to lock in your answers. What is not something the pilgrim is... I am not entirely sure on this one. All right, time's up. The answer is professor. He's a poet, he's a picker, he's a prophet, he's a pusher, he's a pilgrim and a preacher. This shows all the sides of our hero. He's certainly not portrayed as any sort of saint. He was able to find a song called Professor Booty by Beastie Boys from their album Check Your Head. Next question. From Anatomy of a Song, The Pilgrim, Chapter 33. When is the pilgrim a problem, according to the chorus? When he's stoned, when he's drunk, when he's sad, or when he's confused? So from Anatomy of a Song, The Pilgrim, Chapter 33. When is the pilgrim a problem, according to the chorus? When he's stoned, when he's drunk, when he's sad, or when he's confused? Got about 7 seconds to lock in your answer. Not sure on this one. The answer is when he is stoned. He's a pilgrim and a preacher and a problem when he's stoned. Definitely no saint. In the movie Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro bought the Silver-Tongued Devil and I album for Sybil Shepherd because she described him with a quote from this song. Next question from Anatomy of a Song, The Pilgrim, Chapter 33. The pilgrim is running from his devils, but what is he reaching for? The stars, the love, the money, or his angels? So again, Anatomy of the Song, The Pilgrim, Chapter 33. The pilgrim is running from his devils, but what is he reaching for? The stars, the love, the money, or his angels? About 8 seconds left to answer. All right. And the correct answer is the stars. Running from his devils, Lord, and reaching for the stars and losing all he's loved along the way. Our hero would probably appreciate not only the Royal Air Force's motto, Per ardua ad astra, through adversity struggles to the stars, which is also the motto of many Commonwealth Air Forces, but also Oscar Wilde's quote from Lady Windermere's fan, "We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. Keep looking for your star." And the final question in this quiz, Anatomy of a Song, Pilgrim, Chapter 33. What is all the pilgrim ever gets? Better and better, sadder and lonelier, older and around, or drunker and poorer? So again, Anatomy of the Song, the Pilgrim, Chapter 33. What is all the pilgrim ever gets? Better and better, sadder and lonelier, older and around, or drunker and poorer? Got about 5 seconds left to lock in your answers. And time is up. The answer is older and around. But if this world keeps right on turning for the better or the worse, and all he ever gets is older and around. I think that getting older and around is sometimes the best that any of us can hope for. The first bit is inevitable, and I like to keep trying for the second. All right, we're going to move on to another quiz now. This one is called The Great Gigantic G. This is my seventh.
Okay.
So, all the answers in this quiz will begin with the letter G.
Okay.
This is rated an easy quiz from funtrivia.com. Alona Ritter. Let us play. First off, what color has Oscar on Sesame Street been for most of the show's run? This is a one-word answer. What color has Oscar on Sesame Street been for most of the show's run?
Green.
Yeah, I'm thinking green as well. So we got, they gave you quite a bit of time for these questions. You got about 10 seconds left for those of you who want to lock in your answers. I remember Oscar.
Oscar the Grouch.
The correct answer... Yeah, the correct answer is green. Oscar lives in a garbage can with his pet worm. Question number 2. Which Estelle played Sophia on Golden Girls? Getty, Getson, Grayson, or Green? Which Estelle played Sophia on Golden Girls? Getty, Getson, Grayson, or Green? Got about 15 seconds to lock in your answer. What was your guess, Laughing Chipmunk?
Getty.
Getty? All right, we'll see here very shortly what the answer is. Got about 5 seconds. All right, time is up. The answer is Getty. Estelle Getty had Parkinson's disease, and she passed away on July 22nd, 2008. Question number 3. Who was Pinocchio's father? Was it Gregory, Geppetto, Gerald, or Giuseppe? Who was Pinocchio's father? Gregory, Geppetto, Gerald, or Giuseppe? Got about 15 seconds to lock in your answers.
Geppetto.
That's what I'm thinking too. It's been a while since I've read Pinocchio. Yeah, Geppetto sounds familiar. All right, time is up. The answer is Geppetto. Pinocchio became a real boy after learning that he couldn't tell lies. Question number 4. What was the name of the giant that David fought in the Bible? So this is a 7-letter word. What was the name of the giant that David fought in the Bible? I believe it was Goliath.
It was Goliath.
So you got about 15 seconds, those of you who are playing at home, to lock in your answer. No cheating. Don't grab the Bible and look it up. You probably won't be able to scan the 1,000 plus pages anyway in the short time. All right. Time is up. The answer is Goliath. You can read about David and Goliath in Samuel chapter 1 in the Bible. Question 5. What word describes social people? Gerund, gregarious, gumption, or gigantic? So what word describes social people? Gerund, gregarious, gumption, or gigantic? Got about 10 seconds to lock in your answers.
Now that one I'm not sure about.
I'm not entirely sure either. All right, time is up. The answer, gregarious. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking it was, but I wasn't sure. Gregarious has the same Latin base as segregation. The base greg means together. Next question, number 6. The day before Jesus was crucified, where did he pray? Was it Galatia, Greenland, Gethsemane, or Gog? So the day before Jesus was crucified, where did he pray? Galatia, Greenland, Gethsemane, or Gog? Gosh, I can't remember.
It's the Garden of Gethsemane, and that's how it's pronounced.
Gethsemane, okay.
Gethsemane.
5 seconds to lock in your answers, those of you playing at home. And the time is up. The answer is Gethsemane. You can read about this in the Bible in the New Testament. Number 7. Which cartoon character worked for Spacely Sprockets? Was it George Jefferson, George Jetson, George Flintstone, or George of the Jungle? Which cartoon character worked for Spacely Sprockets? George Jefferson, George Jetson, George Flintstone, or George of the Jungle? It sounds like the Jetsons to me.
Yeah,
I think it's George Jetson.
George Jetson.
Yeah. So
George Jefferson.
that's an interesting one. Time is up. The answer is George Jetson. George Flintstone was the only George listed that didn't exist at all. His name, of course, was Fred Flintstone.
Yeah.
Next question. Running is a lot of fun. In the previous sentence, the word running is a gerund. True or false? So running is a lot of fun. In that sentence, the word running is a gerund. True or false? I have no idea what a gerund is. I can't think of it. We've got about 10 seconds left, and those of you who are playing at home and to lock in your answers. And time is up. The answer is true. A gerund is a verb that acts as a noun. Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Okay.
Question 9. What animal, as of 2003, is the mascot for Geico Car Insurance? A giraffe, gerbil, grasshopper, or gecko? What animal, as of 2003, is the mascot for Geico Car Insurance? Giraffe, gerbil, grasshopper, or gecko?
It's the little gecko.
If you don't know this, Geico is like everywhere, so I don't know how people would not know this one.
It's the Geico gecko.
Yeah.
He's so adorable.
With the British
I love
accent.
That little guy.
Yeah. Geckos are little green lizards, and they are the mascot for Geico. Final question for Trivia Tuesday. Who won the first Super Bowl? The Green Bay Tigers, the Green Bay Lions, the Green Bay Packers, or the Giants? So again, who won the first Super Bowl? The Green Bay Tigers, the Green Bay Lions, the Green Bay Packers, or the Giants? You got about 10 seconds to lock in your answers, those of you who are playing at home.
I'll say the Packers.
You're going Packers? I don't even know if they were called the Packers that far ago. They were called the Packers. Okay, Green Bay Packers. They won and beat the Kansas City Chiefs 35-10. Nice. All right, so that concludes Trivia Tuesday for today, and we're going to go ahead and wrap up the morning show with a final check of your weather forecast. So currently at Wright State University from tomorrow.io, it is mostly clear with a temperature of 61 degrees. The wind is coming from the north-northwest at 8 miles per hour. Humidity is 39%. The visibility is 10 miles. The air quality is good. And the hyperlocal forecast for the next 12 hours shows mostly clear skies with the temperatures approaching mid-60s by 1 p.m. The temperatures are going to reach a peak of 68 degrees by 4 p.m. and then slowly start cooling off as the day progresses at 7 p.m. Your weather forecast from the National Weather Service and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Today, sunny, high around 70. Tonight, mostly clear, low around 50. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high in the upper 70s. Wednesday night, mostly clear, low in the upper 50s. Thursday, sunny, high in the mid 80s. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers developing overnight, low in the upper 60s. Friday, partly sunny with a chance of showers developing in the afternoon, high in the mid 80s. Friday night, a chance of showers, low around 70. Saturday, high around the lower 80s with rain. And finally, Saturday night, showers with a possibility of a thunderstorm, low around 70. So that concludes this edition of the Wright Morning Show. Those of you who are tuned in, thank you for being a part of thank you for making us a part of your morning. Thank you, Laffy Chummuck, for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. That was fun.
Yeah. And we are here every weekday morning on WWSU Radio from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And also be sure to check us out on YouTube. Find the WWSU YouTube channel, and you could see us live in the studio during the show. From WWSU Studios, this is Triple P signing off for the morning. Have a great day.